How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this tutorial in which we're going to talk about a version control, and more specifically version control as it pertains to the industrial automation space on the Siemens TIA Portal software. I'm going to be walking you through how to archive a project from TIA Portal, how to create a backup that normally you could copy onto a USB key, give to one of your colleagues, and restore that way. However, we're going to take it a step further. We're going to install Git. We're going to then use Windows PowerShell commands to push the project into a GitHub repository, which we will instantiate as well. And then we're going to see how we can restore said project on a different machine by downloading those files from GitHub, thus making it a much more collaborative way of working on projects, but also making sure that we are aware of which version we are installing in our environment. Now, in a very general sense, I would hope that everyone agrees that there is some value in versioning software. So sometimes you develop a program for a specific machine, and it is going to be your version 1. 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months down the road, someone's going to make a change and name that program V1.1 or V2 final or some flavor of that nomenclature. You're tracking as the software changes are made in different files. Now, where solutions like GitHub and some other proprietary tools like Copia or software-defined automation, or even some of the tools from the OEMs themselves, on the Rockwell side, you have Asset Center. In TIA Portal, you also have a flavor or version control. They usually come in handy when you have a larger scale project, when you have multiple engineering teams, when you need to onboard someone. They can simply go and retrieve not only the latest program, but also see what kind of changes have been made. And so there's a lot of inherent value in being able to have that tracking inside of a tool that is a little bit better than just your folders on a drive, on a USB stick, and so on and so forth. Alright, so before we can back anything up, we need to install Git on our machine. What will happen if we don't have it installed? So I can show you by running PowerShell. So Windows PowerShell run as administrator. If you already have Git installed, this command is going to work. We can double check the version of Git that we currently have installed by typing in git space -- version. And in this case, I don't have it installed on this machine, so we should get an error in a couple of moments. We will need to download and install Git. So I'm going to, while that's processing, I'm going to open my browser. I'm going to search for Git download. I'm going to press on enter. It's perfectly fine. Get installed. There's going to be a couple of different versions. Again, if you're using a packaging manager, it's going to be a little bit different, but we are going to go the simplest route, which is going to be the standalone installer for Windows x64 setup. We will be downloading a file, which we will open as soon as the download finishes, and we can open our file explorer, go to downloads, and let's see here, Git 64-bit. We're going to double click the file. There's going to be a couple of configuration options. We can leave most of it on default for the purposes of this specific demonstration. So let's see here, press on next, install in the default directory, file associations, use Vim, which is an editor. Let Git aside, that's fine. Git from the command line, that is what we need. Next, open SSH, that's fine, because we will need to connect to a repository. Use the native Windows Secure Channel Library. Next, check out Windows style. Next, TTY, fast forward or merge. Credential manager next. File system caching, install. So that should only take a couple of minutes to install. We will then have to restart PowerShell to see the changes being made. While we're waiting on this, I'm also going to open TIA Portal version 20 to create the project and actually archive something of value into the Git system. And so the next step for us while we wait on the project in TIA Portal is going to be creating a repository on GitHub. And GitHub is just an example of a service that you can use via Git You can also use GitLab. You can self-host a Git-based repository. This is a tool that allows you to host your projects and repositories in a public or private fashion. And so you will see that I have my own page. What I can then do is I can navigate into repositories. I can click on new. And in this case, I have to give it a name. So we're going to call it TIA portal dash backup or V1. Again, you can name it whatever you would like. This is going to be public for the time being. Of course, you can retrieve the file if you desire to do so. I'm going to press on create repository. And for now, we'll come back to it a little bit later in the tutorial. We will need the specific URL of the repository once we are ready to push the files. So now that we have the repository in place, as I've mentioned, we want to restart Windows PowerShell. So I'm going to once again search for PowerShell. I'm going to run it as administrator. I'm going to press on yes. While that's coming up, I'm also going to create a new project, which is fine, project 1. Let's click on create. It's going to take a couple of minutes usually. I'm going to move back into Windows PowerShell, and I'm going to verify that I do have indeed a version of Git running on this machine. And as you can see, we are running 2.53.0.windows.2. I'm also going to create a new folder in which I'm going to back up the project. So I'm going to navigate into my PC, local disk C. I'm going to right click here. Let's click on new folder. Siemens projects. And again, obviously you can store all sorts of different files inside of this folder. We're just going to back up a single TIA portal project. I had not clicked on create. That should be going through creating project. We do have a few other commands to run. So before you can push the changes or the files into a repository, you need to make sure that you authenticate with, in this case, GitHub. So what I'm going to do here is type in git config global user name, and that's going to be V Romanov, which is my public username on GitHub. And then I'm going to say git config, which is going to be global user.email, and this is my personal at gmail.com, but is also visible on my GitHub. I'm going to press on enter. We will then need to, of course, connect to the actual repository, and I'm just looking at the open repository that I have on the side here. So we're going to, let's see here. We have the disk C. We need to move here to the right folder. I'm going to copy that. And again, I'm confusing some of my shortcuts because I'm basically moving around between Linux, Mac, and Windows. So we need to navigate into that folder. Let's put that here. C, Siemens projects, press on enter. You'll notice that we have changed the working directory for Windows PowerShell. We need to then go into our repository. And so I'm going to open it inside of here. Let's see here. So GitHub V Romanov 89, just so I have the URL in place inside of this machine. So as you can see here, we can open the profile and we should be able to see the repositories associated with my account. You will notice that the repository is empty. However, what we need is the URL. So the full URL of the specific repository, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go into my PowerShell. I'm going to say, first of all, git init to initialize the fact that there is a repository at that specific location. I'm going to then say git remote add origin, paste in the URL, press on enter. And let's see here, git remote -v. So we obviously don't have anything there yet. So what we need to do here is navigate into TIA portal. In this case, this is just a blank project. We can obviously add all sorts of different PLCs, devices. We can add ladder logic. That is not extremely important for this demonstration. What I can then do is I can click on project, I can archive, and what we will see is a source path of the project within the local directory, but we also need to create a target path which in this case is going to go to our PC, local disk C, into Siemens projects, and we're going to call it project 1, press on open. We're going to add a date and a time to target name, and I'm going to press on archive. What that will create is a project file or a backup of our project file on the TIA portal front, and you will see it is 2026-03, so March 27th, 10:43 a.m. So the project has a timestamp as well as a date, of course, associated with it. So we can go back into PowerShell and I can say git add. In this case, I'm going to add all the files. I'm going to then press git commit -m, and this is going to be the initial commit. Of course, you can leave whatever name or comment you would like. Let's see here, git commit. We have one file changed, 0 insertions, 0 deleted, and then it creates the label for the file. We want to commit on the main branch. Again, this is not an entire Git tutorial, but we basically only have one branch in this case, and that's going to be the main branch. And we're going to push, so git push -u origin main. We're going to push the changes that we have made to the main branch. And in this case, we should get a prompt because we have not authenticated with GitHub yet. And I will do this off screen, but basically I can use a code. In this case, the code is going to be invalid, but I do need to log into Git via two-factor authentication. So I'm going to, on a separate screen, make sure that I follow the instructions here, which is login/device. And then I'm going to simply select my profile that is associated with the admin rights to that directory, so EC1 bb6d, and I'm going to give permission to this instance of Git to push the changes to that directory because I am the creator and the admin for this specific account. What you will notice if we go back into the same repository, so initially we only had the instructions on how to work with it. If I refresh, we should have the file, which is again project 1, 2026-03-27, 10:43 a.m. I have a couple of ways to retrieve these files, and so in this case, if I'm the admin, I can follow the exact same steps and I can download all the changes to my local machine. If I'm an outsider, I can either give that user permissions, but I can also, because this is a public repository and you can try this on your own machine, what you can do here is code and you can download as a zip. Of course, you can download via a more secure way, but you can download the zip file, which will contain currently only a single backup of a project, but of course it can contain a lot more than just that. And so if we go back into our project in TIA portal, if we, for example, wanted to, in this case, we are running project 1, open the project that exists locally, or I can press on open. As you can see, that's the local project. What I can do is I can browse, I can navigate to my local disk C. Instead of going into the general directory, which is users, Joltec, documents, automation, project 1, I can go into Siemens projects and I can find the backup of my project. And in version 20, and I believe this goes back to all the way to version 16, I can simply open that file name and it should allow me to, it's going to create a new project basically here. So we're going to new folder. So this is going to be, let's see here, rename project 2 as an example, and we're going to select that folder for the local project, and it should open the backup file that we have. In this case, we just left the same one as we had here, but we have opened a backup file that could have been sent to us by a different entity. And so, as you can probably imagine, this becomes extremely important, not only when you work, as I've mentioned, on smaller projects, but when you have an entire team of distributed engineers looking to contribute to the same scenario. You can download pieces of the project, you can back up entire repositories of documents, you can be working on different PLCs and then pushing those changes to a common project file, it is a little bit different than in traditional software where you can see the entire code base. In this case, it is still quite a bit of a step up from backing up your project on SSD hard drives, on USB sticks, on SD cards, or simply downloading or uploading from your PLCs. So highly recommended for especially distributed teams, but even for smaller applications where you're making constant changes, where you want to keep track of what changes have been made, and you want to be able to access some of those files on the long run, and you want to be able to give access to those files to some of the engineers. I have shown you how to create a public repository. They can also be made private, they can be self-hosted, so there's going to be a lot of different opportunities to expand quite a bit on what I have shown you today.